In land transport, I think the biggest challenge is in raising capacity to meet with the higher than expected ridership growth. Right. So whether in terms of infrastructure, we talked about some of the new lines, we talked about in the past the Jurong East modification program. I think that has eased the congestion level at Jurong East somewhat. We are bringing in new trains, adding more trips. So along the Compass line since 2008, we have added about 30% more trips over the course of the last 3 years. We've bought more trains for those two main lines, with yet another 35 to come in 2014 and 2016. Plus, I've also talked about plans previously to add more capacity to the Circle Line, to the Northeast Line, and that will be between 60 to 70% more than what we have today. Okay, so it will be more trains, and then as a result of that, we can do more trips, even before the signaling equipment is upgraded. Now, during peak hours, we're already running trains at 2-minute intervals, but on the shoulders of the peak hours, I think there is the possibility to run it more frequently, and that's what we would be doing, so that we can try, together with other measures like the 30 cents discount, to encourage commuters to shift their travelling patterns somewhat. And then together with that, to ease the congestion and the loading during the peak of peak hours, Josephine Teo is also working with MOS Tan Chuan Jin to try and see how we can encourage employers, to allow their employees, their staff to work more flexible hours. The other point about connectivity also is really about giving more choices to people, because if you think that the only option is to take a feeder bus to connect to the rail network, well, we want to make sure, first of all, that the buses, as part of the Bus Services Enhancement Program, would come more regularly, would not be as congested as what it is today. But also, we think that there's a certain distance that people are more prepared to walk than others. And now with additional lines and more stations coming up, we see that we are able to put more residents, more commuters within 400 meters and 600 meters of a station. And I think that gives them a choice. You take a feeder bus, or you walk, or some of them would prefer to cycle. Certainly a lot more convenient in the outskirts where there's more space for dedicated paths, less so in others. But we are also enhancing the cycling infrastructure, both in terms of paths as well as in terms of facilities to lock their bikes securely. So it gives people options as to how they want to have that connectivity at the last mile, which is, they think, most convenient for their purposes.